Have you ever noticed how the little things, the tiny, nearly invisible choices, tend to shape the entire tone of your day? Like the difference between waking up to a blaring alarm and jolting into the world versus waking slowly, hearing the birds or the hum of your coffee maker, and feeling, just for a moment, that today might actually go your way. That's not luck. It's rhythm, ritual. And after 60, when life has given us plenty of sharp corners to walk around, the rituals we choose, on purpose, become some of the strongest tools we have for real, lasting happiness. I know life hasn't slowed down as much as you imagined it would by now. Maybe your calendar still fills faster than it should. Maybe you're juggling grandkids, finances, caregiving, or even a job you're not quite ready to let go of. And on top of all that, there's the quiet sense that time feels different lately, like it's speeding up even when your body says slow down. But here's the good news. You don't need a 10-day retreat, a new therapist, or an overstuffed gratitude journal to feel better. You just need a few daily anchors, simple actions that take minutes but echo through your entire day, lifting your mood, sharpening your focus, and reminding you that joy isn't behind you. It's right here, if you know where to look. So in this video, we're going to walk through 6 of those daily rituals. Not rules, not chores, just small, steady shifts that bring the sunshine back into your mornings and a quiet glow into your evenings. Before we begin, I'd love if you subscribe to our channel and tap the notification bell. We've got so many practical, life-changing tips ahead that can truly transform the way you feel, move, and live in your 60s and beyond. Your support means the world, to me and to the growing community of wise, empowered viewers building better lives alongside you. If you find this helpful, please like and share it. It helps get these messages to others who need them. And if there's a topic you've been struggling with lately, drop it in the comments. We read every single one. Now, let's talk about one of the most overlooked daily rituals, how you greet the morning. Not when you wake up or what you do first, but how you feel about the day before it even begins. Most of us hit the floor thinking about what's wrong, what hurts, or what needs to get done. But what if you borrowed 30 seconds before moving a muscle to check in with your breath, flex your fingers, and say something simple like, "I'm here, and today gets a fresh start." It's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about giving yourself the gift of pause, and the mind follows that energy. Calm breeds calm. You'll notice your shoulders aren't quite as tense, your thoughts not quite as scrambled. It's like tuning your own frequency before the noise of the world starts. Another daily ritual that makes a surprisingly big difference is stepping outside. Even for 2 minutes. No phone, just sunlight or even clouds, and air that hasn't been recirculated through vents and screens. Something shifts when we let our bodies rejoin nature even briefly. It reminds us we belong somewhere bigger than our to-do list. And for people over 60, natural light first thing in the morning has been shown to help reset sleep rhythms, ease anxiety, and boost mood-boosting hormones we often don't even realize we're low on. You don't have to go on a hike. Just a doorway, a balcony, a step outside with tea in your hand. Try it tomorrow. Feel your feet touch something real. Breathe. Just for you. And you may be surprised how the rest of your day softens around that choice. Let's keep going. Because the truth is, once you begin noticing how small moments shape your mood, it becomes easier to protect them. One of the quietest but most powerful rituals? Moving your body first thing in the day, not to burn calories or hit a goal, but to signal aliveness. Think of it like this: after 60, your joints are like houseplants. They don't do well when left still for too long. Few gentle stretches in bed, rolling your shoulders, even a slow walk around the kitchen while the kettle warms up. These are not workouts, these are wake-ups, and they tell your brain, we're here, and we've still got plenty to do. It's easy to underestimate how much our physical state shapes our emotional one, but movement doesn't just loosen muscles, it shifts chemistry. Just 5 to 10 minutes of steady motion can lift the cloud that sometimes arrives uninvited in the morning. That fog that tells you it's going to be one of those days before it's even started. I once met a woman named Carla who had struggled with feeling stuck for months after retirement. She wasn't ill, nothing was wrong. But the days felt gray, and her spark seemed to flicker. Her daughter, without saying much, gave her a pedometer and a challenge. Just walk to the end of the street and back before breakfast. That was it. Within a week, Carla had added music to her walks, then started waving to neighbors. By the end of the month, she told me, I feel like I live in the world again. Not because of the steps, but because of what they symbolized. Movement is momentum, and momentum is mood. Another daily choice that builds happiness? Protecting what you feed your mind. So many of us start our mornings with noise, news channels blaring, inboxes overflowing, the endless scroll of headlines and updates that are mostly designed to provoke, not inform. And it's no wonder we feel off balance before we've even finished our toast. But what if your first input of the day was something kind, or interesting, or beautiful? A line from a favorite poem, a passage from a book you love, even just a few minutes of quiet music while your hands prepare breakfast. It sounds so small, but over time this builds a mental environment that feels safe, stable, yours. You don't have to live in a bubble, but you do get to choose what fills your head before the world rushes in. I love the story of Robert, a retired teacher who begins each day reading one handwritten quote from a box he's kept since his 20s. Over 40 years of scribbled lines from students, authors, conversations, and each one reminds him of something true he might have forgotten. He told me, it's like brushing my teeth but for the soul. That's the power of ritual. It's not what you do, it's what it protects. Your space, your energy, your chance to start again. So as we move forward, keep asking yourself, what parts of your day feel like you? And what parts are just noise you've gotten used to? Because the next ritual we're going to explore may just shift the way you relate to the world around you entirely. Have you ever walked into a room, looked around, and suddenly felt a wave of peace or tension, without quite knowing why? It's not always about what's in the room. Sometimes it's about what's missing, intention. That brings us to the third simple ritual, creating one small space in your day where you decide how you want to feel, instead of reacting to whatever comes flying at you. This doesn't need to be fancy. In fact, the simpler the better. Some people light a candle before breakfast. Others sit with their coffee near a window and just breathe for 60 seconds. The point isn't the action, it's the pause. That gentle reminder that you're not just a passenger in your day. You're the one steering the ship. One gentleman I met during a community wellness group told me something that stuck with me. Every morning before his wife wakes up, he sits on their porch for 3 minutes and just listens. That's it. Birds, wind, passing cars, whatever's out there. He says, it's my reminder that the world is bigger than my worries, that the day is new, that I'm still here. When we create space to listen, to ourselves, to nature, to stillness, we reconnect with the part of us that's deeper than stress. And happiness often lives right there, just beneath the noise. Now, once your day gets moving, there's another happiness booster hiding in plain sight. Micro acts of kindness. Not the grand gestures, not charity galas or sweeping favors. I'm talking about the kind of kindness that costs nothing, takes 30 seconds, and creates a ripple you may never fully see. Smiling at someone in the grocery line, letting a car merge ahead, sending a message to a friend just to say, I was thinking of you. These moments seem insignificant, especially in a world that's rushing faster than ever. But emotionally, they're like gentle handshakes with humanity. They remind us that we're part of a web, not floating alone, and the science backs this up. Acts of kindness, especially unexpected, spontaneous ones, light up the same pleasure centers in the brain as chocolate. Except unlike chocolate, they don't spike and crash. They linger. A woman named Mira, who started volunteering at a local library after turning 62, told me something I'll never forget. She said, I didn't do it to meet people. I did it because I missed feeling useful. But then one of the kids asked me if I could help him write a birthday poem for his mom. And in that moment, I felt alive. Like who I am still matters. It always does. You matter. Even when you're not trying, even when you're simply showing up, with a kind word or a steady presence, especially then. So now, with your day unfolding, your body in motion, your mind gently fed, your heart tuned to kindness, you're already building something beautiful. But there's one more ritual that shifts everything when the world begins to slow down again. As evening settles in, and the hum of the day begins to quiet, there's a moment, often brief, when your body softens and your breath deepens without being asked. That's the window where reflection fits perfectly. Not the heavy kind, not regrets or long-winded journaling, but a ritual so simple it can be done in the time it takes to brush your teeth. It's the ritual of mental gratitude, a private moment to whisper to yourself, what went right today? Not big victories, just something that felt good. Something that didn't go wrong, or something you handled better than yesterday. A warm dinner, a gentle walk, a moment when the pain in your knee eased for a while, a call from your cousin, maybe even this video. This isn't about forcing false cheer. It's about noticing the soft threads in your day, the ones you'd miss if you only counted chaos. Our minds are wired to protect us, which means they're often trained to scan for threats, for problems, for what didn't get done. But happiness? Happiness grows when we gently redirect that spotlight, when we teach it to catch the glow. I remember speaking with an 84-year-old woman who lost her husband during the pandemic. She said the grief never fully left her, but each night before bed, she would say 3 things out loud that made her feel safe that day. Some nights it was just, my feet are warm, the roof held through the storm, and I saw a squirrel on the fence. That's it. She said it helped her remember she still belonged to life. And that brings us to the final ritual, one that many people underestimate, planning a reason to look forward. Not someday, not next summer, tomorrow. Anticipation is a powerful happiness tool, and it doesn't need to be grand. You don't need a cruise booked or a garden party to host. You need something small that makes you smile just thinking about it. A morning walk to your favorite bench. A cup of hot cocoa with extra cinnamon. A phone call with someone who makes you laugh. Even just choosing what song you'll play first thing tomorrow. Without something to look forward to, even a little thing, the days can start to blend into one another like gray watercolor. But with one simple thread of excitement, your brain perks up, your mood shifts, and suddenly tomorrow feels like a page worth turning. One man, a retired electrician I met at a workshop, said his life changed when he started planning tiny joys each evening for the next day. He said it gave him structure and hope, and even helped him sleep better, knowing something good was waiting. So let your happiness live not just in memory, but in expectation. You've now gathered a full circle of rituals, woven gently into your morning, your movement, your giving, your quiet, and your looking ahead. But before we wrap this up, let's take one more breath together and anchor it all in something deeper. Close your eyes just for a second and let your shoulders drop. That little act right there, that's what the last ritual is all about. It's the art of softening, of not always having to hold it all up all the time. This final ritual isn't something you do with your hands or even your schedule. It's something you do with your inner voice. The way you speak to yourself, especially when no one else is around. Because let's be honest, after 60 the world doesn't always get softer. Sometimes it gets louder, busier, or even lonelier. And if we're not careful, the voice inside us starts echoing the noise outside, telling us we're behind or fragile or less needed than we used to be. That's why the final ritual is simple but powerful. Speak to yourself with tender authority, not syrupy affirmations that don't feel real, but grounded kindness. Like saying, I've gotten through worse, or I'm doing my best, or even just, it's okay to rest. A woman once told me she started writing these phrases on sticky notes and placing them inside her kitchen cupboard, where she kept the tea. Each time she opened the door, she saw a reminder, I'm still growing. I get another chance tomorrow. My pace is enough. She said it wasn't magic, but it changed the weather inside her head. That's what this 6th ritual is all about, changing your inner climate. Because here's the secret they don't tell you in most happiness books. You don't have to earn peace with productivity. You don't need to finish a checklist to deserve joy. You just have to make room for it, gently, daily, like pulling up an extra chair at your table. And these 6 rituals? They're not chores, they're choices, tiny, stackable moments that shift your direction, one sunrise at a time. Imagine how your days might feel if you greeted the morning with movement, started with sunlight, offered kindness, ended with gratitude, planned one small joy, and spoke to yourself like someone worth protecting. It doesn't take a new life. It just takes noticing the one you have. So if this video gave you something helpful, an idea, a breath, a spark, please tap the like button. It helps us reach more people who need a lift. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss one of our weekly videos on living better, stronger, and happier after 60. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one ritual you already do that brings you peace? Or one you'd like to try? Thank you for spending these few minutes with me today. Here's to living your best life at any age.